Good morning. Welcome to Have Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversation content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being. However, in today's conversation, we'll be talking about what counseling school taught me about listening. I really want to give you guys some insights because this is actually my last semester of grad school. It's been a journey. I've been pushing through a lot of discipline, but I want to be able to provide you guys with some values that I was able to take away, right? So I want to once again kind of normalize and reduce the shame in regards to, the listening aspect of things. So many of us think that listening means pushing through, skipping meals, ignoring, breaks, right? Overloading our day with more responsibilities and putting things on our plate, right? Which is prone for us to burn out, be torn from the floor up. So I don't want that to happen to you, right? So we got to be observant. We got to be more self-aware, right? We have to also know boundaries. No means no, right? Enough's enough, right? So know what's on your plate, know what you can handle, right? And calling that even discipline or professionalism when it comes to just taking more on our plate, right? But I really want us to take in consideration, like I said, counseling school is able to teach me something very different. So stick with me. So when it comes to that psychoeducation, it's just simple, plus, grounded in this aspects of, listening requires us to be more present in the moment, right? So not focusing on the past, right, that gives you anxiety and keep you torn from the floor up, or even focus on the future that gives you anxiety because you don't know what's coming, right? Focus on what's in front of you, right? Just focus on the moment, right? So presence requires us, it helps us out with that regulation, not exhaustion, so it keeps us, whole, right? Organizing our day and having structure. This also helps us reduce that anxiety because you know what's to come, right? For instance, for me, working on my internship right now, in addition to doing school, I have my agenda book, right? I also have a composition book in which I take my, where is it at? So I can give you all a visual, right? Y'all think I'm playing, right? So I have right here, perfect. This is my journal, as you guys can see. This is where I put my personal thoughts. Every weekend I sit down with myself, sometimes even within the day I write, just to kind of get my thoughts down. And then this is progress notes. For confidentiality reasons, you feel me? I ain't gonna get too much into it, but for those that know, right? But I really take these things serious because I got books on books on books. That's tree them right there. But in a real way, you gotta really take in consideration to organize your day, right? Have day structure. I also want to tell you to pack a lunch, right? How you gonna sit here and pour into other people, but you ain't got no energy for yourself, right? You're gonna realize by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, when that break time hits, I'm blessed to have an hour break, but you really realize that if you don't have something sustainable, like a nutritious meal, you're gonna feel it. You are gonna feel it. And by the end of the day, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I need a nap. And it's not even like 7 p.m. yet. It's not even dinner time yet. So I'm letting you know right now is that you really have to not just have the self-awareness, but you also have to have the organization. You have to have the prep skills. Cook for yourself. Put the the good stuff into your body. What you eat is usually how you feel, right? So if you're putting the nonsense in your body, back in the days I used to eat zebra cakes and all that little sweet stuff that Nash has no nutrition, damn near none. So I really want to be transparent with you that you got to be able to eat a balanced meal that matters, so it's able to help you on your break time to replenish an energy, right? So, when your body is feeling depleted, I really want you guys to take that into consideration, that listening is key. Next, I also want to talk about positive, practical reframing, right? So active listening in real life, right? So I really want to take in consideration that don't rush, right? So when we talk about, setting up your day, think about that proactively, Prep the night before if possible, right? So things are not hectic in the morning, right? And taking breaks so that you're able to reset, right? So when you have a break, you got people coming to you, asking you questions, this and that. Set the boundary if you need it, right? Like, let me finish my meal, you know what I mean? Like, let your personality kind of ooze out in a respectful way, but you really got to be able to have time for yourself, whether watching a video, just plugging away from the responsibilities of what's going on and doing something that's catered for you, right? Bring that joy back into your life. Put that motivation back into your life. Re-energize yourself on whatever you like to do. If you like to watch videos on sports, you like to watch videos on mechanic work, whatever, you like to watch videos of a little drama here and there, like, do whatever's going to be beneficial to yourself. However, I think that you got to be able to kind of, like I said, give yourself that detach, especially when you're at work, for instance, or managing school. Give yourself these breaks, right? And I also want to encourage too, having me time, right? Self-care is tied into this, that self-love, but you really got to be able to have time for yourself, right? Plug away, as mentioned, and practicing this with, like I said, that love and that self-care is going to be able to help you maintain as you're navigating through. I'm going to be real with you. People looking at me like, how did you do it? I'm telling you right now, self-care, having a little me time, right? There's no way that you're sitting here, you're pouring a lot of energy out into these corporations, these jobs, and other individuals as well, but you're not giving yourself that same time, that same love, you know what I mean? Compassion, you know what I mean? You got to have it for yourself. So we want you guys to also take in consideration though, when you're coming to work and you're working in these spaces, there's days I'm gonna be real with you too. I have some family business I got going on the back end, but I realized too is that you have to have that mindfulness, keep yourself grounded, right? And then when you're helping serve other people, it takes away from the nonsense and getting your mind foggy, right? I realized that good people leave you better than you initially started, right? So I really want to take into consideration, have a loving mind, have a helping mind, right? And when you're doing something of purpose, it's gonna help you stay grounded. But at the same time too, I want you guys to also take consideration of, in a real way, please try your best to have a routine where you're able to, like a breathing techniques, like skills, when you're able to really get yourself grounded. I really think that's really important, especially when you're starting your day, because like I said, some of us you could have went to a coffee stop, you could have had an altercation with that, you could have some family issues that's going on behind home, you could have bills over your head, you could have all these different things that are impacting the way that you're functioning, right? But if you're not having a way to get yourself grounded and keep yourself like back to the get back, right, then it's gonna be dragging out throughout the day, right? I was able to change my mentality by having this technique, and I really want you guys to take that in consideration. So listening to yourself, right? So there's various different things that I'm spitting out to you, and it's all based off of listening. You really got to be in tune to yourself. So this ties into listening to other people. Don't get it twisted in the field. We're gonna get to that, but also to being in tune with yourself, right? Let's move forward. So I also want to talk to you guys about is like the ethical core, right, of counseling is do no harm, right? So, counseling ethics says do no harm, and that's something that we have to take in consideration. So as I'm listening to other people, I'm actively listening to people. I'm really, making sure my body language is on point, right? Because people looking at the way that you're presenting yourself, right? And you really, there's also too, like I said, there's things I got going on as a counselor, right? And I'm not going into twist. I ain't going to project. I ain't going to get into my business. That's none of the client's business. But I also want to take in consideration on the sense of the fact that by listening to other people, it takes away from the drama of what you got going on. Isn't that a wonderful thing? When you're really intentional, when you're really listening to someone, we really got what they got going on, it takes away from the drama that you got going on. And you realize too, other people may got some real stuff that's beyond what your situation is, because it's not even about you. Right? So I really want to take that in consideration on the counseling end. So, as I'm serving the client, or, I want you to also to treat them as the way that you would treat a loved one, right? For instance, R.I.P. to my grandma, but that's the same way I would treat someone. Like treat someone like you treat your grandma, regardless of their presentation, regardless of their, their gender, their race, etc., right? We want to treat everybody the same way that you want to treat your loved ones. So I really want to take that in consideration. Like your job is to do no harm. Your job is to serve them to the best of your capabilities. Your job is to help them get back to the get back and serve them through their lens, right? When it comes to listening to someone, you really want to be able to, like I said, in a sense, disconnect from whatever that you got going on. So I really want you to take that in consideration. And once again, serve them to the best of your capabilities. As we're, coming to a close, I don't want to drag this video too long, you heard, because I think that I just want to make it short, sweet, and simple, because I think that when it comes to listening, it's something that's very powerful. It's something that is able to help us grow, right? And it's something that was able to help me grow through the stages of me being in this program. And then as I'm actually at an internship, working with these individuals, serving these clients, working in groups and these different dynamics, it's really helped me be more present, right? So listening begins on how you treat yourself, but at the same time too, when it comes to me sprinkling on that counseling dynamic too, is that the knowledge is something that really helped me become the person that I am, and I'm also too able to help implement and teach as well. So listening is something that is really beneficial, it's really powerful. So I'm asking you, please take in consideration to listen to yourself first, get in tune with yourself, be more self-aware, but at the same time too, that also helps you engage with other people and how you're able to mingle and listen to them, right? So do no harm, even if you're a counselor or not, right? Like I said, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? Treat someone the way that a loved one is treating you, right? And I think that improvement can happen, growth can happen, and we'll all benefit. So if you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share if possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay blessed, you know what I mean? Keep listening to yourself and listening to others.